no.
Once we got it going, why did it work? Same reason Bezos would tell you Amazon worked. We had fast first mover advantages. For a long time, nobody looked at either of our companies and thought there was anything there. And by the time they realized and tried to jump in, we had a big head start, okay? So AWS, his cloud service, and our terminal have continued. And they're not going to be at the top forever. There's always somebody coming along. What did we do at the beginning? I saw these screens. They showed prices of bonds, and they flashed a little bit. And I said to myself, well, why would people want that in front of them? And the only thing I could think of is they want to take those numbers, draw a graph, make up a table, use it in a calculation or something. And I thought to myself, well, why shouldn't we do that automatically for them, since we know what they want to do and it's not very complex? They could do it by hand, so we could certainly write a computer program to do it. And so that's what we did. And the first time you hit a button, it said, it took this price and it calculated a yield. You said, I want this and I want to see what happened in history, and it drew a graph. Make a table out of it, that sort of thing. So we had value added that the users didn't ask for, but when they saw it, they said, oh, I want that. And even if their boss said, oh, I don't want to spend the money, they said, I can't compete without that. Why? Because my competitor's going to have it as well. And even the firm that I left, Solomon Brothers, that didn't want it, came back and became a very big customer before they got merged.
Do you think there's a danger that your company could be taken over by artificial intelligence? It's coming.
We have an enormous number of our programmers working on AI and machine learning. Right now, 15% of our stories are written by a computer. Oh, sure. You put out a press release with your earnings, and the reporter looks at it and says, oh, I better write something about this. By that time, in that 1 second, we have created a 5-page story because we've gone to the database, we've got earnings in the past, we've drawn graphs for you, we've told the last time you and the next time you will and whatever it is, and the computer can pull all that together, leaving the journalist free to pick up and call you and say, well, now can you explain this in the earnings? So the journalists are getting more value and are creating more value because they're doing what they do best, talking to you and interpreting the numbers. What they aren't very good at is just taking the numbers and moving them from one piece of paper to another, because human beings just don't do that very well. They're very slow and they're very error prone. Computers do that very well. Computers can't necessarily do is ask the right questions. We're getting there. AI is a very useful tool. It's amazing how much data we collect with a third fewer people, 10 times the amount of data, because the computer goes and finds the right thing and puts it in the right box, and then the reporter does something with it. So we're very cognizant of it. I'd like to think that we are leading the charge, or certainly at the top. I can tell you our 6,000 engineers that we have are, I think, the best group anybody's put together. Having said that, if you don't speak Mandarin or Russian or heavily accented English, you probably can't talk to them. And it's fascinating. We recruit around the world, and there's an awful lot of people that are getting great educations around the world in engineering, even more so maybe than here. America runs the risk of these other countries having the best well, not the best and the brightest, but the best trained. Because I think the intellect is probably the same country to country. It's what you do with it.
Thank you.
All the best. Nice to see you.